There's some pictures that came out that showed Islam Mkhachev, the guy who just fought Alexander Volkanovski.
Yeah.
And Volk is our boy.
We love Volk.
We love Volk. This is why we're talking about this. Obviously, yes, we're biased. We want to protect Volk. But there's some images that came back that showed Islam with a bruise on a part of his arm where a vein would be. Now, that bruise is a typical bruise for someone who has received an IV. You're not allowed to rehydrate with an IV. There's a 2-year suspension for that. They look at it like performance-enhancing drugs because in a lot of ways it is. You've depleted your body with so much water to make weight, and now you found a way to get all that water back into it before the fight, and the only way to do it at that speed is to just have it done intravenously.
Oh yeah, I did an IV drip the other day. That shit was
I saw you.
Wonderful.
And you have a little sore on the arm?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I look at these images and I was like, look, this could be photoshopped, right? There's also a video from the UFC's Embedded show. Now, Embedded is where they do remember the 24/7 Floyd Mayweather type things, they follow the fighters. So they have video of him, I think it's before the fight, where you also see the wound. I think you have the video, dude.
Yeah, I'll pull it up right here.
So you also see the black and blue. Now, he's also a boxer. I don't want to say this is fact.
That's what I'm saying.
He's also not a boxer, he's also a fighter. You could get bruises. Maybe that's a part where you got a bruise. There are other options here. The only problem is that there are rumors swirling that the woman that administered the IV has spoken to people and said that she did it.
Where did he get the IV? Do we know if it's in Australia?
Yeah,
course, 'cause he's there.
because Dan Hooker tweeted about it, and he was like,
Dan Hooker tweeted about it. It's after the weigh-in. Right. So Hooker was like, do you really think that you could get an IV in Australia and we wouldn't find out?
I do actually. It's a big country.
I don't.
Nah, but they run.
You're fighting a hometown hero.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
you got to bring your people in to do that. Now, I mean, to me, the only reason why I wouldn't believe this is because I can't imagine that somebody or somebody's team is so mind-bogglingly stupid that they would just risk it with a random IV company.
Also, the most disciplined people on the world. Like, they're gonna go on Google and be like, IVs in my area.
Yeah.
Send them over. And also, you're the most recognized. There's nobody that's got only beard hair here.
No,
in
it's
all
illegal
of
in Australia.
That IV lady probably works for Twitter too.
Snitching.
Yeah.
But she won't come out. She's kind of like thorough. They're basically like, yo, are you gonna just come out and just say that he did this? She's like, I don't want to deal with the backlash. I don't want to deal with everything that's going on. But I have spoken to some people that have, I have on decent authority that they may have spoken to her, and that's what's being claimed. Now, this is huge. One, the UFC does not want this. You don't want a controversy about making weight. Two, they would have to suspend him for 2 fucking years.
yeah.
Whoa.
You don't want one of your stars that you're calling the
Big
pound
name.
for pound guy to be a cheat. And then 3, this not only tarnishes his legacy, but does it tarnish the whole camp?
Yeah.
You start looking at
Could
the
be.
rest of the people in the camp, and
Also,
then
how much does the IV do for performance?
If you're cutting,
It is-
if you're cutting
there's
a lot
nothing
of
more-
weight, think about how much you got to dehydrate yourself
Yep.
to be 15 pounds lighter than you normally are when you're already that fit.
Yeah.
And it helps in 2 ways. One, all your cardio goes, not all, but a lot, your cardio significantly is reduced when you take all the water out of your body. Your body's just so depleted. But 2, you're easier to get knocked out. So your chin goes without that water. So being able to rehydrate and get back to normal and be able to have the cardio, but also be able to withstand punches is unfathomably important in a fight.
Huge advantage.
And especially when you're a guy who's cutting weight to have an advantage.
Yeah.
That's why it's a 2-year suspension. Think about that. I think for like a drug, it's 1 or even less. It's such an advantage in a fight that the suspension is for 2
Especially
fucking
if you're
years.
coming up and he's coming down. The one advantage you have is if he's coming down a lot, he's going to get tired, he's going to get gassed. Otherwise, if he can go right back to that level of strength and endurance, you're fucked. It's going right back to that 30-pound advantage or whatever.
Right.
I don't,
essentially.
But as far as casting doubt on the rest of the camp, though, like,
I don't necessarily do that, but what I'm saying is that's what happens. Like when there's one cheat within an organization, you assume, like if Lance Armstrong is cheating, you're like, well, aren't all the...
Jose Canseco got popped for steroids and was like, I was giving them to everybody. That's just what and it makes sense. You're like, yeah, of course.
And then you're dealing with, like, that's why I'm saying if Islam did this, and again, this is a rumor, I can't confirm any of this, and I'm also very like delicate with even saying these things because this is this person's livelihood. This is, he ended up getting a decision over a guy who's our boy that we love, but at the same time, it's like, we gotta be delicate with these rumors until it's true. These are rumors, but there's a lot of evidence that looks like there's some shady shit
And
that's
this
going
is
on.
for sure, because I'm looking at some of these pictures and it looks like it could be camp pictures, like from camp. This video for sure is after the weigh-in before the fight.
Yep.
Okay. Because yeah, there is a spot there. Because I was thinking some of those pictures could just be normal camp training, gloves on.
I mean, I can't believe that they didn't just put some fucking. I can't believe they didn't just put some what's it called on it, some
makeup or whatever.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Wear a
it's-
long sleeve shirt.
It seems so obvious that you would think that it's not that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's like if you were really worried or concerned about it, you would wear a long sleeve shirt. You would try to hide it. The fact that he's not trying to hide it almost makes me go like, okay, maybe this is a misunderstanding. Maybe he got an IV for something else. Maybe they had to take blood for a blood test.
Right.
Maybe USADA was like, hey, we need to.
But then that nurse would kind of be smart enough to say, I gave him a blood test. And not,
That's the only thing that's tricky. Is
But then
that
we don't
there's-
have a nurse though.
Exactly.